name is Sioned Williams and I'm a creative harpist professionally. I'm a passionate researcher, lecturer and teacher, self-confessed nature and poetry lover, especially Rumi, amateur photographer, party giver, wife and friend, who has lived with McArdle disease all my life. Today, on Rare Disease Day 2022, I'm presenting an awareness reality and a fundraiser for the ultra-rare McArdle disease via a JustGiving page. A rare disease is categorised by the NHS and the World Health Organization as one which affects 1 in 2,000 people. In 2022, those in the UK diagnosed with McArdle disease number about 1 in 200,000 people, 100 times rarer, and only 4,000 to 5,000 known cases worldwide. Being ultra rare is usually considered valuable, but to be honest, in this instance, I'd rather be not quite so remarkable. McArdle's is a glycogen storage disorder. It's a genetic condition and we're born without myophosphorylase, muscle phosphorylase, a crucial enzyme which affects our entire skeletal muscles. This can result in muscle pain and fatigue on everyday activity and exercise, and fixed contractures with rhabdomyolysis. We may also suffer raised urate levels, possible muscle wasting, and we risk acute renal failure. There is no medicine and no specific treatment, so careful management through one's life is essential to avoid serious episodes, which can lead to the permanent use of a wheelchair, the loss of a limb, or untimely death. Most patients don't get diagnosed until middle age, by which time serious damage may already have been caused. My own story is sadly typical of not discovering the name of what had created havoc in my life until I was 37 years old. In addition to a wide-ranging freelance career, I had just accepted the position of principal harpist of the BBC Symphony Orchestra when, in 1990, I was diagnosed via a muscle biopsy as having McArdle disease by researchers at UCLH in London. What ensued was a transformational period, really, of indecisiveness, of terror as to the wisdom of fulfilling a career in one of the most stressful, prominent positions in the world, and also one where physicality was a daily routine by definition. Not only is playing the harp physically demanding, I'm not even 5 foot tall, and the harp, weighing about 37 kilos without travelling covers, is far bigger than I. Playing about 6 to 8 hours daily, sometimes more, learning new works every week, and travelling worldwide is demanding enough for a person in full health. But I decided I simply had to be the musician I was destined to be. And I was in the orchestra for 28 years. I'll be 70 in 2023. And this goes to show that with careful management, with huge self-belief and determination, with specialist care and quite a lot of humour, one can defy the odds and live a very fulfilling life with McArdle's. However, I've been fortunate since the UK has a world-renowned team with a McArdle specialist at the helm. The hospital I visit in London is the National Hospital for Neurology and Neurosurgery in Queen Square, Bloomsbury. And I couldn't understand at first why I might need the expertise of different specialists. The team is headed by a consultant neuromuscular physician. There is a consultant neurologist, a research fellow, an exercise physiologist, a clinical neuropsychologist, a neuromuscular physiotherapist, a clinical nurse specialist, a highly specialist dietitian, and a senior clinical scientist, quite a list. I have benefited so much from the detailed knowledge and skills within this hospital, and I'm forever grateful for that. I've had access to many essential publications as well, provided by the most amazing McArdle's colleague, who has spent his life disseminating vital information and offering help way beyond expectations, and publishing pamphlets, which I'd like to show you now. The first is McArdle disease, an overview for medics. Living with McArdle disease. At home with McArdles, at work with McArdles, and at school with McArdles. And the 101 tips for living with McArdles, which goes with me everywhere. I carry a card which has vital information on it, such as do not use a tourniquet and beware of possible problems with anaesthetic. I've been to conferences, I've met others with the disease, and I've been on walks in Wales with a small group of McArdleites, as we call ourselves. And I've constantly worked to manage this rarity as best I can. Many people will never get diagnosed. Many will become seriously ill before discovering this disease. Others will have been misdiagnosed and incorrectly treated. And now is the time to raise awareness worldwide, especially amongst the medical professions, schools, sports clubs, and other relevant groups. We have many items we need to concentrate on, and only this year, after 20 years, a team of expert clinicians and researchers have developed an internationally agreed clinical practice guidelines for GSD5. These are just some of what the AGSD UK McArdle sector hope to do. Provide support for patients, organisations and medical professionals. Advocate the patient viewpoints and needs to governments, patient organisations and medical professionals. Disseminate standards and best practice. Contribute to the planning of research projects and to support and assist those projects. Facilitate communications between organisations, especially internationally. And work towards reducing the average age of diagnosis to 10. I can't explain in the context of these words how daily my life is affected, but from the moment I get up in the morning until I retire to bed, McArdle's is my constant companion. A rare complex disability is tricky to deal with, but nearly all of us who have McArdle's have experienced difficulties also through simply the lack of knowledge and understanding of others. We mostly don't show any signs outwardly of this illness or disability, and we're often smirked at, bullied, especially at school and in the workplace, and not taken seriously and shown up in public, as I was regularly during my time in the orchestra, when a gentleman who lived in flats opposite the BBC studios shouted at me regularly for using somebody else's badge. It's not your badge. Little did he know how many years I'd fought for the badge and the humiliation of going through the disability testing process, which was really horrendous. Many of us have got psychological scars. We need much more understanding, and we need to be believed. I never thought that even now, despite reaching the highest echelons of my profession, it was possible for people to speak out in publications and elsewhere in the most demeaning ways about my health. I am allowed to discuss my health, but no one else is, except in appropriate circumstances and at my choice. I feel we have a long way to go still to educate people on how to behave, how not to discriminate, how to embrace, and how to try and gain a better understanding of issues which they personally, hopefully, will never have to deal with. To be curious is one thing. I can fully understand, for instance, how somebody might ask me, how do I play this harp? How I've managed this life of mine. I'll answer that the best I can. But information becomes misinformation and points get misunderstood. I play the harp. My career is fully described elsewhere, and I shall not be defined by McArdle's. My reason to speak on this platform on Rare Disease Day was that my very special mum died in her 50s of what I believe most definitely were issues related to McArdle's. but it was never diagnosed at the time. The pain of that loss never goes away, and no one should suffer an untimely death because of McArdles. I also want to share my own story because it might give people hope, since we're often distressed when we initially discover we have an illness or a disability. But what we are all usually able to do with our lives is way beyond what we'd first imagined. I often find that people with disabilities find an inner strength and an incredible eagerness to conquer all, and have a huge determination which can defy our closest family and friends and even the medics. I want to make an impact, get the message out there, inform as many as possible about McArdle disease, and I need your help. I would be deeply grateful if you would consider donating to the charity AGSD UK via my JustGiving page. Diolch yn fawr. Thank you very much.